Okay, good morning. So, had a good break. We'll wait for a minute. Okay, are there any questions? Before we get started, a couple of announcements. So, there was a request to postpone the tutorial to from this week to next week. I think your class representative Shanti wrote to me saying that many of the students want it to be held next week. So, the tutorial 2 will be held on next Thursday between 12 and 12:50 p.m. Syllabus will be whatever is covered till tomorrow. Okay, but right from the beginning. Okay, so don't think that it's only after the tutorial 1. Okay, so it will be all the topics that are covered till tomorrow, but the emphasis will be on the topics that are covered after the tutorial 1. Okay, and just now there was a query about the lab assignment evaluation. I think it's going on. I think the teaching assistants also took a break, so I'll just check with them and then get back to you. Mostly sometime this week we should release the marks for the first 3 assignments. Okay, I hope you are going ahead with the assignment 6. All right, so please complete that and submit next week, and then we'll start with the next set of assignments. Yeah, so are there any other questions? Okay, let's get started then. So in the last couple of classes, we're looking at the basic elements of these sequential circuits, which are called the flip-flops. We have looked at the different kinds of flip-flops, starting with the set reset flip-flop or SR flip-flop, then modifications of that leading to what are called the JK flip-flops. So basically, JK flip-flops act in the following fashion. If we set the J equal to 1 and K equal to 0, it will set the state of the flip-flop to 1, all right? And if J is 0 and K equal to 1, it will reset the state of the flip-flop to 0. And if J is 0 and K is 0, same state is maintained, no change in the state. If J equal to 1 and K equal to 1, then the state of flip-flop gets toggled. That is, the new state will be the complement of the current state. So we can explain all these operations or present these operations in the form of the table, where the inputs will be j and k, and the next state is expressed in terms of the current state. So if jk is 0, 0, q plus is equal to q, that is no change in the state. If jk is 0, 1, q plus is going to be 0 irrespective of the current state. If jk is 1, 0, q plus, that is the next state, will be 1 irrespective of the current state. And if jk is 1 and 1, then the q plus will be the complement of q. Okay. And then we define what is called the excitation table, that states under what conditions the q will change to some different value for the q plus. So q plus is a function of jk and q, that is the external inputs j and k, and the current state of the flip-flop q. And this is derived from the previous table, right? And once we have this table called the excitation table of the JK flip-flop, we can get the characteristic equation of the JK flip-flop, which tells, given the values of J and K, and for the current state of Q, what will be the Q plus. So the whole functionality of the excitation table is expressed in terms of this characteristic equation. And we have seen that there are what are called the level triggered flip-flop, where if the control input is 1, then the operation of the flip-flop will take place. If control input is 0, then there is no change in the flip-flop state. So there will not be any effect of the inputs on the state of the flip-flop. And most commonly used flip-flops are the what are called the edge-triggered flip-flops, where the control signal has to be in the form of the edge, either the rising edge or the falling edge. If it's rising edge, where it goes from 0 to 1, then it's called the positive edge-triggered flip-flop. Otherwise, if the effect of the inputs on the state of the flip-flop is there only after the falling edge, that is when the control signal goes from 1 to 0, right, then it's called the negative edge-triggered flip-flop. We are not giving the internal circuits of these flip-flops, it's more involved. So we'll just understand the functionality that only when the clock edge comes or the control signal edge comes, right, the effect of the inputs to the flip-flop will be there on the state of the flip-flop. And this is the most versatile flip-flop, and for designing any circuit, right, one can use JK flip-flops. But this requires 2 inputs, and later we'll be seeing that when we design the circuits using these flip-flops, we have to come up with the Boolean expressions for controlling J as well as controlling K. So typically the circuit will be a little bit more complex than the circuits that are designed using the other types of flip-flops. So there are other flip-flops, only single input. One is called the T flip-flop or the toggle flip-flop. And we have seen that when T is 0, the Q plus will be in the same state. Thus, there is no change in the state. When T equal to 1, it complements the state. So the excitation table, again, is derived from this operation of the T flip-flop. And once we get the excitation table, we can get the characteristic equation of the T flip-flop as Q plus is equal to exclusive OR operation on T and Q. And for certain types of circuits, using the T flip-flops can simplify the design of the circuits. Okay. And one more type of flip-flop that will be extensively used in the memory design, we'll be seeing that later, like registers and so on, right, is the D flip-flop, which is called the delayed flip-flop. And the operation of delayed flip-flop is that if D equal to 0, the new state will be 0. If D equal to 1, the new state will be 1, right? So the current state does not matter. So everything is controlled by the input only here. And we can specify the excitation table accordingly. And the characteristic equation is going to be Q plus equal to D. Okay. So are there any questions about this? Because it's important to understand the different types of flip-flops and their operations. And when we start designing the circuits using the flip-flops or analyzing the circuits using the flip-flops, it's important to have these basic operations clearly understood. Okay. There are no questions. We'll proceed further. Actually, we'll be discussing a few types of sequential circuits. one type of sequence circuits is basically what are called storage elements, like registers and the physical memory in the computer system. We'll come back to it a little later, right? And there are other types of sequence circuits called the typically counters, right? And we'll first look at the design of the counters using these flip-flops, and later we'll be seeing that counters are one type of sequential circuits where it can generate sequences where the sequences correspond to the typical count. But in general, a sequential circuit can generate any arbitrary given sequence of values. We will get some clarity about what do we mean with these values a little later, right? So we'll first look at design of some simple counter circuits using the flip-flops. In the process, we'll try to understand what is it involved in designing the sequential circuits using the flip-flops. And once you understand the steps in that, right, then we can use that procedure for designing any sequential circuit. Okay, so we'll get started with the process of the design of sequential circuits. Typically, this is what is known as the design or synthesis of, and all the circuits that we'll be designing are what are called the synchronous sequential circuits. So the synchronous refers to the kind of circuits where the control signal is common for all the flip-flops, right? The kind of circuits where the control signals can be different for the different flip-flops in circuits are what are called the asynchronous circuits, but that's outside the syllabus of this course, right? So we'll be focusing only on the synchronous sequential circuits where there is a single control signal which controls the flip-flops in the given circuit. So we'll come back to it later. So we'll be seeing that the major steps that are involved in the design of the sequential circuits is first, for simple circuits, we'll look at what is called the draw the state diagram or the state transition diagram. We'll quickly see with an example, right? Then construct the what is called the next state table of the circuit. I'll give the steps. I'll quickly come to each of the steps with some examples, right? And then what is called construction of the input table of the circuit. Then the next step is finally obtain the Boolean expressions for inputs of the different flip-flops in the circuit. Okay, I just wanted to keep a note of this. We'll come back to each of these quickly. So just as an example, we'll start with a very simple circuit, which is referred to as 2-bit binary up counter. As we'll be quickly seeing, is also referred to as modulo 4 binary up counter, right? As the name itself implies, count means the circuit should count certain types of events, right? And whenever the event occurs, we expect the control signal to go high or control signal to take form of an edge, right? And an up counter means that it has to increment the count value by 1, right? And it's a 2-bit counter because the whole circuit is represented by an output in the form of 2 bits, right? So if the output is in the form of 2 bits, the different values the circuit output can take are the combinations like 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1, right? So these are the count values. So they correspond to the decimal values like 0, 1, 2, and 3, okay? And we can represent it in the form of the state transition diagram. So let's start with the initial state, and we normally indicate the state of the circuit by a circle, right? And we keep the value of the state of the circuit as a number inside the circuit. So in this case, we start with the value of 0, right? And when you want to count in the upward direction, right, the next state will be the incremented value, right? And when will it go from the current value to the next value? Whenever there is a control signal that's active, whenever there is a clock signal that is active. And if the current value of the count is 1, right, it will go to the next count value, right, that is 2, right? And whenever its current value is 2, when the control signal comes again next, right, then it will go to the next count value, it is 3, right? So each circle here indicates the state of the counter. And the value that's written in the circle, right, denotes the current value of the counter, right? Now, what happens when we are in the state corresponding to value of 3 and now the control signal comes, right? What should be the next value, right? So normally it should have been to the next incremented value, that should be 4, right? But the 4 cannot be represented using 2 bits, and we want to design a 2-bit counter only, right? So the next value that will be taken is so when we are at the state 3, right, if the control signal comes, right, then the next state will be 0. So basically, what is the count sequence here? 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. After 3, it will go to 0, then again 1, 2, and 3, right? So this count sequence will is the one that the circuit will go through, right? And the circuit will change its state whenever the control signal is active, right? So this is what is called the state transition diagram, because we are indicating the state of the state of the circuit, right? And we are indicating when the change in the state will occur and to what state the counter will move to, right, whenever the control signal comes, right? And these are the decimal values, and we have to design using the flip-flops, which can take only, each flip-flop can take only 1-bit value, right? So the same thing, we will now indicate the state of the counter as the state of 2 flip-flops, right? Where the states of 2 flip-flops are, let's say, the Q1 and Q0. Q1 is the Q output of the first flip-flop, and Q0 is the Q value of the other flip-flop, right? So this can refer to any type of flip-flop. It can be JK flip-flop or T flip-flop or D flip-flop. That does not matter, right? So there will be 2 flip-flops. Then the 0th flip-flop state will be indicated as Q0. The state of the flip-flop 1 will be indicated as Q1, right? So then what we are going to have as the state transition diagram is the values of this Q1 and Q0. Right. So obviously the first bit here indicates value of Q1, and the second bit here indicates the Q0. Right. So this is the description of the counter that you want to design. Why is it called modulo 4? When you design the value of the counter by 4, right, this will be the reminder that you will get, right? And when you divide by 4, the remainder can be only from 0 to 3, right? That's why it's called the modulo 4 counter, right? So now let's see how to design this circuit. That is, how to come up with a circuit which will behave in this fashion, right? So we'll do it first for the circuit using the JK flip-flops. Once you understand the procedure, we can do it for the other types of flip-flops. So what is it we are saying? We want to use JK flip-flops. So in this case, we require 2 flip-flops. So let's say this is the 0th flip-flop. That is, it will have inputs called J0 and K0, and its outputs are denoted by Q0 and Q0 complement, and it will have the clock signal, right? Let me write clearly. Right. So the other flip-flop will be indicated by J1, K1, its output Q1 and its output Q1 not, and it will also have the control signal, right? And when we say it's a sequential circuit, which is synchronous circuit, both these control signals are connected together, and typically this will be connected to what is called the clock input, right? So the clock input will be typically a signal like this, right? And typically each of these pulses here should correspond to an event, and what we are counting here is the number of events occurring, right? I mean, though we write this clock signal as a periodic signal with the same period, right? But in principle, it may not be the case, right? So the events can occur with different at different instants of time. What we are interested in is actually counting how many times that event has happened. Whenever the event has happened, this control signal should go high, and then after some time, the control signal will go low, right? So that when the next event occurs, again the control signal can go high. Okay, and typically, if it's an edge triggered flip-flop, as indicated here, the effect of these inputs will take place only after this clock signal goes from 0 to 1. Okay. Now, the state of the flip-flop is given by the output Q1 of this first flip-flop here, then output Q0 of the 0th flip-flop here, right? So now what we want is, we want to determine what should be the J1 K1 and what should be the J0 K0 in such a way that the circuit built using these 2 flip-flops will follow this count sequence whenever the clock signal comes, right? So now we have to decide, or we have to come up with a method that will determine, right, what will be the expressions for J1 K1 and J0 K0, right? And by applying these inputs to the flip-flops accordingly, the counter will go through this particular sequence of 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So what is it we have done now? First, we describe the operation of the counter in terms of the state diagram or state transition diagram, right? Then we have come up with the circuit in terms of flip-flops, where only the number of flip-flops is specified, right? And it's indicated that it's a synchronous sequence circuit by connecting the clock inputs to the same control signal. The next thing that we need to do is come up with the expressions for J1 K1 and J0 K0, right? Which will be, as we'll be quickly saying, right, which will be dependent on the current state of the flip-flops. Okay. Now let's describe the operation of this counter in terms of, right, the next state table, where the next state table will include the information about the current state, and for the given current state, when the clock signal comes, what should be the next state. how do we indicate the current state of the circuit? It is by Q1 and Q0, because there are two flip-flops here. And what is the next state of the flip-flops, right? They are corresponding Q1 plus and Q0 plus, right? So once you come up with this table, we'll be seeing that we are getting what is called the next state table of the circuit. Right? How do you get this next state table of circuit? Actually, it's very simple. It follows the state transition diagram, right? So when the current state is 0, 0, what is the next state? It is 0, 1. When the current state is 0, 1, the next state is 1, 0. When the current state is 1, 0, it is 1, 1. When the current state is 1, 1, right, the next state is actually 0, 0, because as you see here from the state transition diagram, right, when the current state is 1, 1, right, when the clock, if the clock pulse comes, right, it will go to the 0, 0 state, right? So it's very easy to get this next state table from the state transition diagram. Okay. Now we want the circuit to behave in this fashion, is what we are saying. Now, how will it change from, let's say, Q1 to Q1 plus and Q0 to Q0 plus, as given by this next state transition table, right, is what we are trying to understand, right? And the changes will happen because we apply the appropriate inputs, right? So the next part of this table is going to be specifying for each of these state transitions what should be the inputs. So depending on the number of flip-flops you'll have, right? Sorry. We'll have so many pairs of inputs when the JK flip-flops are used. If it's a T or D flip-flop, there will be only one input for each of the flip-flops. Okay. So now we have to tell for the state change to occur as per this next state table, what should be the inputs to the flip-flops, right? And in order to get this entries in the inputs part of the table, right, let's try to get what is called the input table of the flip-flop. If I take any flip-flop, JK flip-flop, right? So let's say if the current state is 0, if I want the new state to be also 0, what should be the J and K inputs? Yeah, this is where understanding the operation of JK flip-flop is very, very important, right? So the current state of the flip-flop is 0. If I want the new state of that flip-flop also to be 0, which combinations of J and K will give me that, right? So for that, you need to go back to the excitation of table of the JK flip-flop, or if you are sure that if you understood that, right? So when can the new state of the flip-flop be 0? There are two different combinations of J and K here, which will ensure that the new state of the flip-flop will be 0, right? When the current state is 0, right? So what are those two combinations? Let's say if I give J is 0 and K is 0, what will be the new state? Again, maybe let me give you the excitation table of the right. You remember from our earlier discussion that this is what is called the excitation table of the circuit of the JK flip-flop, right? So it says that if JK is 0, 0, Q plus is Q. If it is 0, 1, Q plus is 0. If it is 1, 0, Q plus is 1. And if it is 1, 1, Q plus is Q complement, right? So now you tell me, when I want Q plus to be 0, right, what should be input combinations? So the input combination 0, 1 will guarantee that, right? And another case where I'll get Q plus 0 is when Q is 0 and JK is 0, 0, right? So now we see that Q is 0, right? So the JK being 0, 0 will guarantee that Q plus will be 0. Or I can give 0, 1 as the input, right? In that case also, the Q plus will be guaranteed to be 0, right? So what does this say? J input has to be 0 and the K can be either 0 or 1. So we indicate that by the don't care term, right? So if J is 0 and K is either 0 or 1, for the current state Q equal to 0, Q plus will guarantee to be 0, right? So this is what we are saying in the input table of the flip-flop. That is, if Q is given to be 0, if I want Q plus to be 0, then J has to be 0 and K can be don't care term. What about the next one? If Q is 0, I want the Q plus to be 1, right? When can that happen? Right? So I want the new state to be 1, right? The new state to be 1 can be done, right, by having JK equal to 1, 0 or by applying the toggling operation, right? Because it's toggling from Q equal to 0 to Q plus 1, right? So what are these combinations? JK is 1, 0 or JK is 1, 1, right? Which means that it is 1x, right? Yeah. What about from Q equal to 1 to Q plus equal to 0? Yeah. When can this, what values of J and K will give me this? Yeah. So the current state is 1 and I want the new state to be 0, right? So that can be realized by using the toggling operation or by performing the reset operation. That is, JK can be 0, 1 or 1, 1, right? So what is that combination, right? So that's basically this, right? So this will guarantee that the new state will be 0, right? So that combination is given by x1. And similarly, if I want Q to be 1 and Q plus also to be 1, right? That can be realized by having either JK equal to 0, 0 or JK is 1, 0, right? So 0, 0 or 1, 0, right, is basically denoted by x0, right? So basically, what we get as the input table of the JK flip-flop is what values of J and K will give me the desired transition from the current state of the flip-flop to the new state of the flip-flop, right? And we have to get this input table of each of the flip-flops. We'll do that for the other flip-flops later. And after we get this input table of the flip-flop, then we can use this to get the inputs for the circuit that we want to design. Okay. Are there any questions about this input table of JK flip-flop? Okay. Yeah. Now, how do I use this input table of JK flip-flop to determine the inputs for the circuit that I want to design? What is the circuit that I want to design? I want to design this counter circuit, and I got the next state table of the circuit, right? So now let's take the pair of columns in this. Right? So Q1 to Q1 plus, right? That's what I'm interested in. Now, what is the next state table here? Q1 wants to be 0 and Q1 plus has to be 0, right? So what values of J1 and K1 will give me that? So it's 0, 0. So it will be 0, x, right? What is the next entry here? 0, 1, right? So 0, 1 is 1x. The next one is 1, 1. 1, 1 is x0, right? The next one is 1, 0. It is x1, right? So the next state for the flip-flop 1 is Q1 to Q1 plus 1, sorry, Q1 plus, that is 0, 0, 0x is the JK inputs. 0, 1 transition is given by 1x, 1, 1 transition is given by x0, and 1, 0 transition is given by x1. What about the other flip-flop? Right? Other flip-flop is Q0 to Q0 plus. So it's 0, 1, right? 0, 1 is 1x. 1, 0 is x1. 0, 1 is again 1x, right? And 1, 0 is x1, right? So basically the entries here in the inputs for the circuit that we want to design are derived from the input table of the JK flip-flop, which are used after I know what is the change in the state of that flip-flop in the next state table of the circuit, right? So what we are doing is very simple. First, we get the state transition diagram, and from the state transition diagram, I get the next state table of circuit. Once I get the next state table of circuit, I come up with the specification of the inputs, right, which will give me change of state as given in the next state table of the circuit. Okay, so once I get this inputs for each of the flip-flops, now I need to come up with the Boolean expressions for J1, K1, and then J0 and K0. And what are the inputs for this circuit, right? The inputs for this circuit, other inputs that we have are only the Q1 and Q0, right? Because the new state of flip-flop will be dependent on the current state of flip-flops and the inputs in the form of the J and K for the different flip-flops in circuit, right? So now let's come up with the truth table for, the corner map for each of the inputs, right? Yeah. Yeah. What is the truth table for J1? It says that it is 0, 1, XX in terms of Q1 and Q0, right? So we have 1 here, right, for combination of Q1 and Q0, 0, 1, right? And it's 1, 0 and 1, 1 is X, right? So what is the expression for J1 now in terms of Q1 and Q0? When we simplify this corner map, right, then we see that it is J1 is Q0, and you can verify that the expression for K1 is XX01, right? So it turns out that K1 is also given by Q0. And if you look at the entries for J0 and K0, we say that it's all 1 or X. When you simplify that, you will get the expressions as J0 equal to 1 and K0 equal to 1. So basically, what we have derived now is the expressions for J1 and K1 to be Q0 and expressions for J0 and K0 to be 1. Right? So what did we get here? We got the expressions in terms of the current state of the flip-flops, right? That is J1 and K1 has to be Q0 and J0 and K0 has to be 1, right? So now we plug that in the circuit here. Okay, so J1 and K1 will be Q0 and J0 and K0 will be 1. Where is this Q0 coming from? It's actually coming from the output of this Q flip-flop, right? And this output of the flip-flop 0 will go as the J and K inputs of this flip-flop 1, right? And once we connect the output Q0 to the J1 and K1, right? Then if I give J0 and K0 as 1, right? Then this circuit will behave as the 2-bit binary up counter, which will go through this state sequence, right? Or which will go through this count sequence. You can easily verify that. Okay. Let me just pause here, and I want you to make sure that we get the complete process clearly here. So what is the process for the design of circuit here? We get this state transition diagram depending on the specification of circuit, right? And in this case, what we want to design is only an up counter, right? And once we get the state transition diagram, then we come up with this next state table in terms of the current state table. Once we have the current state and the next state specified, right, then we can come up with these inputs for the different flip-flops in circuit by using this input table of the type of flip that we are making use of. And once we get this input entries in this input table of the circuit, right, then we have to come up with the Boolean expressions by drawing a corner map for each of the inputs of flops, right, in terms of the Q1 and Q0 are the current states of the flip-flops in circuit, right? And simplifying that, we will get the minimal expressions for this J and K, and that we plug it in, realizing the inputs to the flip-flops of the circuit. Okay. Now let's see whether the circuit will really behave as we want, right? So what is we want? If Q1 is 0, 0, right? I mean, Q1, Q0 is 0, 0. And if the clock signal comes, right, we want it to change to 0, 1, right? Will that happen now? So the output of circuit is given by Q1 and Q0, right? So let me just mark it a different term. So let's say this is 0, 0, right? What is the new state of the flip-flop? When it's 0, 0, what will be the J1 and K1? J1 and K1 will be 0. So will there be any change in the state of the flip-flop 1? Will there be any change in Q1? When J1 is 0 and K1 is 0, there is no change in the state of flip-flop. So Q1 will continue to be 0. What will happen to the state of flip-flop 0? The inputs are 1, 1. So whenever the clock signal comes, right, it will toggle. So this Q0 will change to 1. So for the current state of 0, 0, the new state is 0, 1. And now if the current state is 0, 1, right, what will happen? Now the J1 and K1 is also 1, right? So what is the effect of J1 and K1 being 1, 1? It will toggle the state. So this will go to 1 now, right? And what will happen to the output of the 0th flip-flop? The inputs are always 1 here, right? So this will change to 0. So from 0, 1, it has gone to 1, 0. That's what we wanted. Now if it is 1, 0, what will happen? The J and K is 0, 0. So it will continue to be 1 for the Q1, whereas the Q0 will change to 1, right? So it will go from 1, 0 to 1, 1. And when the current state is 1, 1, right, J1 is equal to 1 and K1 equal to 1. So Q1 will toggle, so it will become 0, and Q0 will also toggle, right? So it will go to 0, 0, right? So we see that the behavior of the circuit will be as specified in this state transition diagram, right? So basically what we have done is we come up with the circuit, right, which will generate this Q1 and Q0 outputs, which will correspond to the state of the circuits as specified in the state transition diagram, which in turn is specified by the sequence of the values that we want the circuit to generate or go through the process of generation, right? Whenever the clock input is activated. Okay. Yeah. So are there any questions about this? So this is what is called the design of the 2-bit binary up counter, right? Also called as the modulo binary up counter. And we normally don't put this word binary, right? Because typically we'll be dealing with the bit sequences, right? So it will be simply called as the 2-bit up counter or the modulo 4 up counter. Okay. Yeah. If you understood this process, now I want you to go through the process of designing another circuit. As you can guess, Okay. I want you to design a 2-bit, what is called the down counter, right? So what will be the behavior of this circuit? First, let's write in the form of state transition diagram. In terms of the values, right? Let's say the current state is 1. What is it you want the next state of the counter? I'll just take the call end. Yeah, sorry. So if the current value is 1, what will the down counter mean? It should decrement the value of the count by 1, right? So it go from 1 to 0, right? If the current value is 2, it will go from 2 to 1. From the count value of 3, it will go to 2, right? So what should happen when I'm in the count value of 0? Again, by definition, it will go to 3, right? So what is the count sequence here? If I'm in 3, it will go to 2. If I'm 2, I'll go to 1. If the current value is 1, it will go to 0. When I'm in 0 value, right, the next value will be 3, then 2 and 1. So again, it's a modulo 4 counter, but it's a down counter, right? So if I replace the values by 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1, right? So this will be the state transition diagram, right, where the state of the circuit is given by the values of the Q bits of the 2 flip-flops that we'll be using, right? So please note that there is a change in the direction of the transitions, whereas for the up counter, it is from one state to the following state in the right side, whereas here it is to the state to the left of that current state. Okay. So I'll just give the next state table of the circuit. Which you can easily get from the state transition diagram. So if the current state is 0, 1, the next state is 0, 0. If it is 1, 0, then it is 0, 1. 1, 1, it is 1, 0. When it is 0, 0, it will go to 1, 1. Okay. Yeah. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to come up with the truth tables for J1, K1 and J0, K0, which will reflect these state transitions. Okay. So I'll give you a couple of minutes for you to make use of the excitation table of JK flip-flop, and then first come up with the entries for J1 and K1, which will affect this change, right? Then I want you to come up with entries for J0 and K0, right, which will affect the change from Q0 to Q0 plus. Okay, there's a question on how do you set the initial state. I'll come back to it later. Okay. Yeah. Actually, we can apply the corresponding J and K inputs. Let's say if I want the current state of the flip-flop or the initial state of the flip-flop to be 0, I can apply the 0-1 combination. If I want the initial state of flip-flop to be 1-0, I can apply the 1-0 combination and then do that. There are other mechanisms also to do that. We'll come back to it later. Okay, take a couple of minutes to fill the entries for J1 and K1 and J0, K0. Please remember that you need the information about the next state table of the flip-flop, which again I'll give it here just for the sake of convenience. Okay, so let's look at what is the transition that's happening in this state of the particular flip-flop, and then accordingly specify the J1, J and K inputs. Anyway, I'll give these values here. You can verify that. Okay, and once you get this entries for J1, K1 and J0, K0, right, then you can get the expressions for each of them. Again, I leave it as a small exercise for you to go through that. You can verify that. Now in this case, right, J1, K1 is equal to Q0 complement and J0, K0 is equal to, sorry. Okay, so there is a small change in the circuit here now. It will be again 2 flip-flops, but unlike in the earlier case where J1, K1 are given as Q0, it has to be Q0 complement. So we'll take the Q0 complement from the flip-flop 0 and then take that as the input to the J and K inputs of the flip-flop 1, right? Then this circuit will operate as a down counter. Okay, so please go through this process. Please make sure that you understand, right? Tomorrow we'll discuss a few more circuits, right? And we'll also discuss how to design this kind of circuits using maybe T flip-flops or the D flip-flops. Okay, are there any questions about that? Okay, I think people already responded to it. Very good. Yeah, K1, K1 is Q0 complement. Yeah, I think Vedant, you have to mark it as Q0 complement, not just Q complement, right? Whereas Ravi has given that correctly. Yeah. Okay, so I'll stop at this point. All right. Please make sure that you understand all of this. Tomorrow we'll discuss a few other circuits. Yeah. There are no other questions? Then we'll stop. Okay, well, that's fine. Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, if there are no other questions, I think we'll stop here.